everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we have um, a good presentation for you all, learning about dynamic email content for this month's Sugar Market Academy. We have Viri who will be taking the lead on this. As always, if you have questions, feel free to type your questions in the Q&A box, and we will, and well, James will answer them.
I've got my eyes all over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
James will answer them right away. And then, of course, if there's questions that you'd like to ask live, I think we do have some time at the end of this session. Please feel free and go ahead. So you can ask questions during the session or either at the very end. Very, I'll go ahead and let you take it away.
Okay, well, thank you, Shara. Hi, everyone. So as Shara mentioned, today we are going to go over learning about dynamic email content. So please, if you guys have any questions, please, ask away. James is on it, and we also have Bree, so it's a party. You have the entire, support team here for Sugar Market. So starting off, obviously, introductions, you guys know Shara and myself. We're going to go over what dynamic email content is, creating segments, how we can create the segments for our dynamic content, and then just kind of showcasing how to use the dynamic email content in your emails. We'll go over, our top tips, oh my gosh, and our resources. Okay, so here are our lovely faces because I know you guys don't see us. And let's just get started. So, what is dynamic email content? So, I'm sure you guys have seen these little icons in there, but what they do is it's just going to allow you to create segments within your recipient list and create personalized content for those unique segments in one email campaign. You're actually able to personalize your email to display different copy, images, and even buttons for specific segments all in one email. It's actually pretty cool. That way you don't have to build multiple emails for different segments that you have, different segments. And it just helps you save time, just making sure that each recipient gets the most relevant content. It can boost your engagement and conversion rates just because you're personalizing that content for them. Essentially, it's like delivering a personalized email to everyone without, again, the hassle of creating multiple emails. One email, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I keep talking about segments, and you're probably wondering, what are they? What are you talking about? So, again, segments are you're just defining that group of people. Now, when you're in Sugar Market, you can create segments three separate ways. The first one being going over to the segments page, and you would just need to navigate to your list. Here, and I'll show you guys in the platform. Once you're in there, you can just click on that create button and you can create them. You can also set them up directly from your email builder, like from the setup page. From step number one, you can go in there. And there's actually a couple places where you can use segments and you can define those dynamic elements. And the last place that you can do that is from the build stage, which is step number 3 in the email builder. Okay, so I'll show you exactly what that looks like. When you're creating your segments, you're defining the record type. Okay, so you can actually say, well, I'm looking for, on the lead and contact record, I'm trying to find, their mailing state or their status or whatever it might be, their title. You can define it on the lead or contact record by using the contact field type. You can also do it under accounts and opportunities. So when you're in the page to create the segment, you will name your segment and then you will select your record type. Again, contact will be for leads and contacts, account, and then opportunity. Now, when you're creating it, you can, in this example, because obviously with states, you can have the abbreviation for it or the written out. So in those instances, we do recommend that you do 2. So contact mailing state, equals Georgia or GA, sorry, or the state equals Georgia written out. That way it captures everything. Okay. So now I'm talking and you want to see what it actually does. So we're going to go over to using the dynamic email content. Okay, so let me switch screens. As some of you guys might know, I live with multiple screens. That is how I live my life. So I apologize. Okay, so in Sugar Market, to access the segments, I'm going to show you that first. You're going to go over to your hamburger menu over here, and you're going to go over to list. Okay. Now you're going to have obviously your distribution list, your preference list, and then you have your segments. This is where you can build as many segments as you want. There is no limit to whatsoever. But you'll be able to go in here, click on that create button, and that window that you saw on the deck, you'll see here. So you can type in, test, or actually we're going to create a brand new one. We're going to put Florida. Okay. On the record type, we're going to go ahead and select on the contact and lead level. And the field, we're going to look for the state. So again, as you guys know, for Sugar Market, we use mailing state. That's the one that hard maps back to CRM. So mailing state equals, and we're going to do Florida. And because again, there are some times when you use the abbreviation or the written out, I'm going to go ahead or same thing, contact mailing state equals Florida. Okay. And you can add a description. As you guys know, with Sugar Market, we love descriptions. So you can say contacts or leads in Florida. Here we go. Once you save it, it's going to just add it in there. You can always go back in and edit the ones that you have. So again, this one, like I can say, actually, I want to just focus on the abbreviation. You can remove that if you'd like. You can edit, you can add additional criteria there. Okay.
And you can see in the background that people have used job titles in here. If you want to do different segments for maybe how you want the content to come over based on if somebody's a decision maker or a support person or consultant, whatever it may be. People have also used it in here for languages. So if you have it, if it's going out in French, English, and German, you can make sure you have just one email that can split the segments based on language as well. So really, it can be based on any value you have in a field on your account record or contact record as well.
Yeah. Thank you, James. Yeah. So you can definitely do that. So it's really up to you. Again, you can also set it up for the account level as well, or opportunities. So keep that in mind. So with that, let's jump over to how we use these guys in your actual emails. So I already have an email started. One thing I will note that the dynamic email content does not work for A/B test emails. It is only for regular emails. Okay. A/B test emails, you're testing a whole bunch of other stuff. So it would just kind of be a lot. So when you get started, as you guys know, you create an email. You're going to go ahead and click on the regular email here. As you know, campaign applies for, it's an internal thing, so make sure that you have a good naming convention. And as you know, we love folders, so you want to make sure that you set it up in the right folder. Now, when it comes to dynamic content, you can actually apply it to four fields, four areas here in the setup page. You can apply it to your email subject, the from name, the from address, and the reply to address. Now, you don't have to set them all up, but if you want for them to, again, display specific information for those segments, you can certainly do that here. As you can see here, I've already set it up for my subject, my from email address, and my reply to email address. So we'll go ahead and set it up here for the from name. As you guys know, you might be aware of what the merge tag does. It's just a short code. In this case, for the from, it uses the username, the contact owner. But we're actually going to click on these little gear icons that you see right there, and that is going to give us access for our dynamic email content. Obviously, this one is going to be for the from name. Now, when you're here, you have two options. So you can create a brand new segment, as I mentioned in the deck. This is another place where you can create it. But we have already set them up. So we're going to go ahead and use an existing segment. Okay, so from here, you're going to say, hey, what segment do I want to set it up for? Let's just go ahead and click on Florida. And now this is where we determine, okay, if they meet that criteria for that segment, what do we want them to see from in the from name, right? So I'm just going to put Sugar Market, Florida. So if they meet that segment, they're going to see, from Sugar Market, Florida. Okay, so you've set it up. You can add additional ones. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for Georgia. I can spell, I promise. Oh my God. And you can add as many ones as you want here. And the last one's going to be Sugar Market. And it's going to make sense in a little bit, guys. Okay, now, so we have those segments, but not everybody is going to fit into those segments of Florida, Georgia, and Hawaii. We're going to have people who are in Colorado or New York or whatever. And we haven't defined them. So we need to set a default for any of these. You need to set a default in case they don't meet that criteria. So at the bottom of your setup here, you're going to see the default segment. And it's just telling you, like, if they don't fit in your segment, what are they going to see? So this is going to be the default for those people that do not meet that criteria. So I'm just going to put Sugar Market in here. Right. Once you put that in there, you're going to click Save. And it's going to gray out and say, hey, you're using the dynamic from name for this. Same thing for the subject line, from email address and reply to email address. If you ever need to go back and edit for whatever reason, you can click on those on the context menu and click edit, and it's going to take you back to that setup page. Okay. James, Bree, anything you guys like to add in here? Sorry to put you guys on the spot.
Not from me.
Sounds
They do an excellent job.
everybody's quiet. Sounds like you covered everything.
Hey, sometimes they have little tidbits that I might miss, so I'm just making sure. Okay, so now that we've set it up, we're going to continue just like normal. We're going to go over to our next step. Again, this is where you guys know setting up your email, custom templates, anything of that sort. You get to select it or a pre-built one. We're going to go ahead and click next. Now, this is going to be our email. Now, it looks like a regular email because it is, but we actually get to add those dynamic elements. So you may have seen, excuse me, you may have seen, when you guys are building out your email, you have obviously your basic elements and your advanced elements, but then there's this dynamic elements. Now, they look exactly the same, but they're identified by this little lightning bolt that you see here. Now, you can obviously use your regular text, but that means that everybody, no matter if they fit those segments, they're going to see the same thing. However, if you use any of these, you can adjust them. So for instance, over here, I did my dynamic text. And when I click on it, you're going to see that little lightning bolt right there as well. So when I click on it, I actually do have my segments that I just set up. Now you would have to set them up individually. So I'm going to actually go in and we're going to do another one right here, just so I can show you. You can see that it says dynamic text. Now, when you're setting it up at first, when you click on this little thing, you're not going to have your segments. It's just saying the default one, right? This is, again, if they don't meet that criteria, then they're going to see this particular information. If you go to settings, you're going to be able to see, again, this same little window, but this one's going to be for dynamic content. The other one was for the name, the from name, where you can create a segment if you don't have one already, or you can use your existing segments. So again, if I wanted, for Florida, I want them to see a specific thing, I'm going to go ahead and click save. I'm going to set it up one for Georgia and one for Hawaii. Okay, so now that I've them in there, I'm going to click save. And now they're going to appear in here. So I can set it up for each different one. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back to this one that I've already made. Again, this is my default one. I have my Hawaii one that if I click on it, hey, it changes to Hawaii and it has a nice little pineapple. Georgia has a nice little peach, but we don't have the one for Florida here. So again, if I needed to add one, I'd go over to settings. I'm going to go to use existing segments and then add the new one that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now just making sure I'm in the Florida one, I just need to put Florida, and there you go. Now this obviously, and I'm just going to delete this one because it's throwing me off. This is going to apply to any of these elements that you have: text, buttons, dynamic images, dynamic image groups, image captions, social buttons, even code, right? So you can set it up and it's going to change based on, the segment that you created. Same thing with the image. I have my default. I have one for Hawaii. I have one for Georgia. And if I wanted to add one for Florida, I can go in here, go over to use existing because I already have it, and then just make sure to add that to my list. It's going to be in there. And when it goes, once it's added, it's going to default to our default one. But we just need to make sure, hey, I'm updating the Florida one. You can upload, all the basic stuff. I'm just going to look for a picture of oranges. So there we go. That one looks nice. And that way, whenever, if they meet that criteria, they're going to see Hello Florida. They're going to see it in orange. The text can also be changed. So I have for Hawaii, I have for Georgia, and again, we can go ahead and add one for Florida. So it applies to all of these elements in here. You want to make sure that, that you're updating those. Okay. Do we have any questions so far? Nope. Everyone's very quiet.
You're in the flow. You're doing very well, Free.
Well, thank you. Okay, so one cool thing that when you guys are building out your email, you're like, okay, well, I have to change all of this. How does it look? You can always go to your preview. And you can always say, okay, I want to see what it looks like for the default, right? So, and it applies all those dynamic elements to your email so that you can see how it's going to look for your default. What if they are in Georgia? What is it going to look like? And this is how it changes. Okay, they meet that segment, the criteria for that segment. So they're going to see hello, Georgia, picture of a peach. In my text, I'm calling out Georgia. So it's going to be, again, dynamic. It's going to change based on where people are. So Hawaii, same thing. Florida, we didn't set up the text, but they're going to see that orange. They're going to see Florida. So you can definitely see it that way. Another thing that you can do is that you can imitate a contact. Now, if you know where that contact, like if that contact is in one of these states, they're going to definitely see that. I believe that Bree does have her state. Let's double check. Yep. So Bree would, if she were to receive this email, she would then see hello, Georgia, and be able to see, our email for Georgia. Now, if we were to, James, are you in here? There we go.
I
He
hope
doesn't.
so.
Yeah. So James is in the UK, so obviously he would not apply to, Georgia, Hawaii, or Florida. So he would get this default one when he receives the email. So that is pretty much it for your dynamic content. There are a lot of possibilities that you can do. You can always switch things up. Again, all these elements are dynamic. You can change, the social buttons if you want to see, send them to specific regions. That's another option that you can do. As James mentioned, different titles. That's another thing that you can do for segmenting your data. So any questions, anything that you guys would like to add?
For me, it's just a great way of not having to create 5 different emails just for different segments that you may have. You just want to have one list. It's just as long as you have the data correct inside Sugar Market, you can ensure that you create the segments, and the one email you create will actually go to the correct people with the correct content. You don't need 5 different emails split in 5 different, one list split into 5 as well. It's just going to work as you need on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back over, and does anybody have any questions? I know it's very straightforward, but
There was one question, but you answered it it was answered live. So
oh,
thank you, Matthew.
Perfect. So let me just go back to the presentation. Sorry. So recap, just using dynamic content. Obviously, as James just mentioned, you can personalize targeted content to your recipients. One email, that's all it takes. You can have one email and create multiple separate email campaigns, like different content, different images, buttons, all that good stuff, just within one. That's great. Segmenting your data. It's easy to create segments to use in the future. You can go in there and go edit them if you need to. Again, maybe things changed a little bit. You want to, redefine it. You can certainly do so in there. It can be used from the setup portion of your email. So you can, start using it for, again, your email subject, the from name, the from address, and the reply to address. So it's very simple to be able to do that. Okay. And then, within your email, you can personalize what information will be dynamic. You don't have to make everything dynamic, which is great. You don't have to, but you can if you need to. Okay. So that is pretty much it for our dynamic content. We do have several resources, as you guys know. We do have our Sugar Club, our knowledge base, Sugar support site, and Sugar U. But if you guys have any questions, you can always ask your Sugar Market consultant for assistance. Or if you guys want to review this again, you can certainly do so. But yeah. That's pretty much it for our dynamic content, guys. Thank you so much.
All right.
Give it a go if you're not using it already.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for everyone who joined us. For those of you that are in the States, please take some time to enjoy your holiday. And we will see you next month. Have a great day,
Thank you.
everybody.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.